Going. Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm over here. Welcome to MinnFAQs. I'm here with this fella.
It's me,
Jeff Marchiafava. Let us know if it sounds okay, looks okay. Obviously, the camera is having a tough time adjusting the lighting in that window. That's fun. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're here to answer your questions about MinnMax and beyond and everything going on in the world. We're going to solve it one step at a time here.
That's right.
Also, something we should point out is we're doing a group stream tomorrow on Tuesday for the viewers, and we could use some suggestions of what games we should stream. Because like there's the biggie Death Stranding, which is probably going to win in the poll. If you're a $10 supporter, you get to vote in that poll. But there's some other ones that we could throw in there too. That'd be kind of fun because there's stuff like, I don't know, Need for Speed we haven't checked out yet, or I don't think anybody actually on planet Earth has checked out Need for Speed yet.
No.
And then also there's stuff like Plants vs. Zombies.
Plants vs. Zombies, yeah.
What a weird week for EA. Because if Jedi Fallen Order, Need for Speed, and PvZ look all in the span of a week?
When does Jedi Fallen Order come out?
This Friday. Is that crazy?
Just like kind of dump their other games off before that one?
I mean, it's a little bit, it goes back to like Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
Where it's just like they just, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, spread that stuff out. You don't have that many games.
I know. We got a question submitted here from Eric Christensen already out of the gate.
Is he in the chat yet?
He's not in the chat. He submitted the question on Patreon. So he says, hello, guys. About time. He says, in reference to your how to make a decent video essay, you mentioned the importance of music to tie this into games. I'd like to bring up a hot take and a couple of questions closely related therein. First, the hot take. Most great games, Game of the Year candidates, require a great soundtrack. That's probably true. I'm trying to think of the greatest game with the most forgettable soundtrack. It is true. Let's see. I would argue that a game cannot be great or even good if the music isn't memorable. In light of this, I have two questions. Do you agree that a game's soundtrack is as important as gameplay? No. I would say it's nearing it, but no, it's not as important.
Not as important, but yeah, I think that example of, games of the year, not, like we can't think of one that doesn't have a soundtrack. I think that kind of speaks to how much a soundtrack can help accentuate like a big game or gaming moments like that. When you think of like Red Dead or The Last of Us and all those kind of games, like that's when I may not sit around and listen to those soundtracks by themselves, but when they tie into specific moments and things like that, it can really add to it.
Yeah.
So he's on to something.
There's something. Edgar Vasquez says Game of the Year is Control for him, and he doesn't have that great of a soundtrack. That's interesting. That's a good suggestion. And then Eric from Rochester, he says, what is everyone's favorite video game track and or composer? Favorite video game track of all time? That's very specific.
That's the Russian song from Tetris, right?
It's the Russian song. I mean, if you're including the Tetris theme, I was just playing that was on Thursday.
The first thing I thought when he said great games that don't have a great soundtrack. I was like, well, I mean, Tetris is super. Oh no, yeah, but it does have amazing music.
Soundtrack.
Yes.
Have you ever seen that like history of Russia told through the Tetris theme?
No.
It's a very good YouTube video, but I almost wish I didn't watch it because now anytime that I play Tetris, I cannot unhear it. Where it's like, I am the man who delivers the blocks. And it's like putting lyrics or something like that is really problematic.
Ruins it forever.
Yeah. Favorite video game composer is Mitsuda from Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, all that jazz. Part of Xenoblades. Okay, we got a lot of people in here. Hello, Bloody Moses. Hello, Night Pepper. Hello, Canto Kid. Hello, Flaming Queso. Flaming Queso is everywhere. Zach Plaguey, hello. Monster Hunter is my game of the year 2019. It was low-key my favorite soundtrack of the year. Yeah, Monster Hunter World does have, I think, an underrated soundtrack overall, and even Iceborne. And that was one of the craziest things of going on the Iceborne cover story trip is we had this interview lined up with like sound designer, something, and it was on the schedule. And then all of a sudden it's like we're in this tiny cramped room and it's like, oh, here's the composer from Monster Hunter World. It's like, what? Just like thrown in with two other people to interview at the same time. But it's like, that dude's a genius. Like I would love just to focus it on an interview with that guy. But when he's part of this other interview, it's like, okay, I guess I got to talk about sound design and overall stuff. But it's like, that
You can't
soundtrack
just
is
ignore the other two people there.
yeah, for
Who
sure.
you were actually there. Or
Yeah,
you were there.
right. And it was like the Celiana theme. I know I was obsessed with it during that month of coverage, but like that in Monster Hunter World Iceborne is just incredible. Read a thing.
Read a thing. Let's see. Chris says, how will you guys...
Chris what?
Chris, how do you pronounce it?
Don't be naive. Come on, man. You know.
No, I don't. Say it for me so that I don't say it wrong.
Come on, it's right there. It's Chris Coughlin.
You just added an L to it.
Coach him?
We don't know. Sorry, Chris. Add to the comments how to pronounce your last name so we don't look like such a-holes in the future. How will you guys approach Resident Evil 2 for Game of the Year discussions? Where do you fall on eligibility when it comes to remakes? Take it case by case?
I think it absolutely qualifies.
Yeah.
I think Link's Awakening also qualifies.
We can do anything we want now.
That's right.
So
we should call Joe Juba for consulting, though.
Yeah.
We should get the official verdict on this.
Yeah, we can curmudgeonly debate that for hours instead of actually talking about the game.
Yeah, I think it absolutely it's obviously an interesting case, but I think Resident Evil 2 is different enough. You know, I guess the question there is, would you consider remasters instead of remakes for a Game of the Year? And that's probably where I draw the line. But I think Link's Awakening and Resident Evil 2, that's cool. That's legit.
Legit.
That's legit. I still have to beat it though. But unfortunately, that chess piece puzzle is impossible.
Apparently impossible. Yes, I haven't played it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I went through, like my digital library. It was like, did I get this game at some point?
Mm-hmm.
I did not. So we'll figure that out.
This game, you spoiled brat.
Yes.
You're supposed to be down to earth. Dan Wiley, any mobile games that are on your watch list for Game of the Year? I don't know if it counts as a mobile game because it is also on the Epic Game Store, but What the Golf is right now in my top 5 for sure for games of the year. Actually, I could see that. I forced you to play that last week.
Yeah, that was... I had absolutely there's like a friendship mode where it kind of very condensedly gives you the gist of that game.
Which is a really smart idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I played the first hole and was like, okay, I guess it's kind of a golf game. And then the second one, when you actually golf the golfer towards the hole, I was like, oh, okay. I see what's going on here.
We got ourselves a comedy game.
That's super up my alley.
Let's see. Do you want to say something else?
I was going to say, I don't know. I played a bunch of mobile games this year that were mostly board games translated to mobile games, which I liked them all, but I wouldn't consider them as any Game of the Year contenders.
Hey, for tabletop coverage, this feels very hacky, but I was recently looking through like the Amazon Christmas catalog that they sent out for whatever reason, and I know it's hacky because I feel like people have been making these jokes for 15 years probably at this point, but like going through that catalog, it was insane how many Monopoly variants there were. Like, it is beyond the point of parody, and then even beyond that. But I was like, that would be fun for a tabletop review at some point, is to do a Monopoly review and then do a roundup of every single Monopoly. We could even do like Monopoly trivia. So it would be like a 6-hour video, basically. Just for the review? Yeah, because seriously, how many Monopoly variants do you think there are?
Way too many. I mean, it's to the point where you can make your own, and I think they also have like state flavored ones too.
Oh, really?
I don't know if they were official. Well, they must have been official because they were selling them. But
I remember I got it at a Goodwill. It was Twin Cities Opoly back when I was in college, but I don't think that was official. I think it was some nonsense. Okay, what do you call it? Variants? Total number? What?
144.
No, you're misreading that.
1,144 versions. Yeah.
That's insane.
So doing a roundup of every single one would be tough.
1,144.
I don't know if it's like, all the different state ones are actually official.
Oh, that's right. I forgot there's 1,000 states.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be super easy, right? You just rename the places and do some custom, community chest things.
I guess
a couple little, different character mini stuff instead of that thimble or whatever.
Right.
You're done.
What they get rid of? They got rid of one of them recently. It was the cat or the dog or the
iron or I don't know.
The iron.
I don't know.
Rest in peace, iron. Let's see. I love the save room music in Resident Evil Remake. Yeah, I actually playing it. I switched it back to the original soundtrack just because I love that Saber music. And the new music's good, but I love like the menu sound effects and stuff like that too. Old Pokemon games, the music, yeah, incredible. Kanto Kid, Chrono Trigger music is good. No debate here. Edgar Vasquez, never played Crypt the Necrodancer, but Danny Baranowski is a legend. Yeah, actually, I recommend listening. He did an interview on Game Maker's Notebook recently with Austin Winnery, the composer for Journey and stuff. And it's the best interview I've ever heard with Danny Baranowski. Just talking about his life, and he's like full-time at a studio in Vancouver now, which is interesting. But he talks about like his friendship with Grant Kirkhope. And then he also there's interesting bits where he just at a certain point reveals like, I don't know how music works. I don't know what notes are, what chords are. He's like, I just do it and it feels good. And then I wing it. Let's see.
That's insane.
That's insane. Sayonara Wild Hearts is definitely my game of the year. Killer soundtrack. I started that. I should go back and play more of that. Yep. Chris. Hello. Oh, Jeff, will you be freelancing things for different game coverage sites like Kyle and Serial are? What a great question for you.
Yeah, not at this point. I feel like this is a great outlet for anything video game related that I want to say. And like I've mentioned a couple of times before, I still have Severance, so I'm not in a huge rush to, have to pay the bills or anything like that. So
yeah. What are you going to do when your Severance runs out? Back to the hitting the back alleys?
Sell the old blood plasma. No, I donated blood right before Extra Life. And when I came in, like Reeves asked me what I did that day or something like that. And I said I donated blood. And he legitimately thought that I did it to sell my blood for money. It's like, no, I'm not that hard up. Like my wife wanted us to donate blood. So, yeah.
It's really romantic if you guys swap blood. Do you think you could do that?
Oh, we do that. Yeah, it's not as technical or hygienic as donating blood. But
do you think if you had the same blood type as a spouse, do you think there's couples that do that? Is that like some weird Russian basement type stuff?
Yeah, probably.
Wouldn't that be kind of romantic in a really effed up way?
I'm glad I'm not your girlfriend, Hanson.
Would you do you think you'd be frustrated doing freelance stuff for other sites?
Maybe. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I did was just so jokey and stupid that I can't imagine anyone wanting to pay for that.
Have you been on the internet?
I guess that's true, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would be in it for me at this point.
Money.
Yes, I guess that.
But then you look at freelance rates. Like I don't know what it is. You get like what $400 for writing a review or something.
I think so. Yeah. Which when that was more than I thought when Kyle told me that. Yeah. Or maybe Serial told me that. But then I actually did the math of it, and it's like if it's a short game, like I think both of them have done kind of smaller experiences, then that seems like a good deal. But if it's a 40-hour game that you have to play through,
that's insane. You're better off just working at Chipotle.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd ever get no offense, but a boring full-time job?
Yeah, maybe.
Like if you had to guess what your job will be 6 months from now.
I don't know.
I mean, could it like copy editor at some place in Minnesota? Is that the idea?
Yeah. I mean, based on what I've looked at, if you get a normal job outside of the industry, you will work less and get paid more, which doesn't sound like a bad option.
And then have MinnMax stuff on top of that.
Yeah. And then just
seems pretty good.
Do video game stuff because I actually enjoy it.
Right. Right.
So it's a possibility.
Okay.
My wife is almost done with nursing school, and so she should be starting a job by the time my severance runs out. And so once she starts that, she'll be making more than I ever did.
Right.
At GI. So I'm not super worried about it, or at least to the point where it doesn't have to drive what I'm choosing to do at this point.
Yeah.
I can be a little pickier about doing stuff that I'm actually passionate about.
What about, let me pitch you a job.
All right.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Yes, hello. This is Best Buy. We're headquartered in Minnesota. Do you like Best Buy?
No.
Well, please check again. Do you remember our @Gamer magazine? I know you read every issue. Yeah. Would you like to come work at Best Buy Corporate? we could use you on the database entry team.
Oh,
we're going to pay $55,000 a year.
Sounds so good.
Would you take that job?
No.
Really? You'd be writing?
Yeah, but I think I could get a copy editing job or, like some kind of editing job at a different company that wasn't just adding to a database. And also writing for a magazine that's owned by another giant corporation that's probably going the wrong way, at this point is not something I'm super excited to hop back into.
Sure. Bring.
Hello.
This is
How did you get my number?
This is BJ's strip club over by the Game Informer office. Mm-hmm. We're looking for somebody to write bios for every stripper. Are you interested? It pays $50,000 and all the glitter you could hope for.
Yeah, didn't they pass a law that BJ's is like getting rid of the strippers at this point?
Oh, really?
I think so.
Now it's just BJ's. Is that right?
I think so.
That place always made me laugh because they had a sign once and it said, "Chili is back." Like on the big thing. It's like eating chili at a strip club is the funniest idea. And the fact that they were so hell-bent on this chili being so good that it's like, that's right, folks. Like it's the McRib.
Yes. That seems like a terrible thing to put on that sign, but that worked for Dan, right? Like he would have been super into that. If he saw that sign, he'd be like, "I'm going to BJ's right now.
Boobies and chili.
The best place just got better. All right." So they probably know their audience better than
it
is. Who are we to criticize?
There's a significant Venn diagram overlap between people who like strip clubs and love chili.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went to a strip club?
I've never been to a strip club.
Okay.
I did one thing for, it was like a charity event that was kind of burlesque.
Okay.
Where we were, I don't know, my brother was doing like the set design for it.
Wow.
And he had me help, carry and stuff. And there were strippers there. But I didn't look. I covered my eyes.
Is that true? Very smart. Let's see. Remake. RE2 remake stream. Yeah, I'd love to do that at some point. Maybe even trying to finish that game on a stream would be fun. Pete and Brian. Resident Evil 2, there's so much in it. I can imagine some discounting it. Yep, you're right. Edgar Vasquez, will there ever be a schedule for all planned content in the week for MinnMax? That is a great question. On the official MinnMax site, which is MinnMax2ns.com, you don't literally type out 2 N's, but everyone's confused. I have a schedule that's like the staples for the week, just to give some idea of what the temples are. But yeah, like Easy Allies has on their site, which I think is really nice. That idea of like, oh, coming up this week, we have this and this and this. We could do that. I worry a little bit about, first of all, I don't think that many people visit the site, so I don't know where that would go. I feel like we're better just tweeting out when something's coming up. And also I worry about things falling through. And I know that everybody's understanding of that. Mm-hmm. But right now, this will be a little bit of a schedule, right? I'm planning on, we did that fun karaoke stream last night as like a bonus thing. That was Sunday night. You can find it in the Twitch archives if you really want to, but I
heard it was sketchy.
It wasn't sketchy, but we got nuked on Twitch, which is very frustrating because Twitch Sings is a game developed by Harmonix and Twitch. And then the fact that apparently we sang Country Roads so well to the point that Twitch's algorithm nuked it. Like, what are you doing?
They can't figure out their own censorship.
I don't know what's going on. But then on Tuesday, we're going to have, the plan is at least, to have the first Max Spoilers episode. I'll let you figure out what's airing on Tuesday. A certain streaming service. And then Friday, obviously, Jedi Fallen Order and Pokemon come out. And so I want to do something with one of those games, either on that Friday or Saturday, which should be fun. So yeah, having a schedule I think would be nice. I know Giant Bomb has that too, but I just don't know exactly where it would go. Maybe it would be a good excuse to push people to the site more if we did do it there. Yeah,
and I think once we kind of solidify things a little more, it will be easier. Like we always have this on Monday, Tuesday stream, Thursday podcast,
right? This week, I guess Wednesday we have Deepest Dive airing too,
right? And Deepest Dive,
mm-hmm.
yes.
You're just walking through our schedule in your mind.
Yeah, I need the schedule too, as much as everyone else. But there's like the tabletop stuff that we still have to figure out and things like that.
Yeah.
And so hopefully most of the things are kind of set schedule stuff that people will know when to look for them.
Yeah, for sure. Can Jeff give us a scoop on the board game content? I messaged you on Thursday.
You cracked the code.
I think I cracked the code.
Figured out the hardest part of it, which was how the heck we're gonna do this.
And we got the GoPro, so we can have an overhead camera and stuff to show off the table. But the tricky thing is like, well, I think what I'm excited about, and I think what you're excited about, is making reviews that don't suck for tabletop games. Because if you've been on YouTube, so many of those suck.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that they suck, but the problem is that a lot of reviews focus the majority of their time on explaining how to play a game.
Which, to be fair, sometimes I really need that, and
yes.
I like finding
and
that.
I do enjoy that too, and I watch a lot of videos for that explicit purpose.
Yeah.
But once you have seen one of them and you understand how the game plays, it makes the, every other review that you watch such a slog, or you just, skip through it to the last 3 minutes where they actually talk critically about a game. And we don't want to do that. We're not going to be able to compete with the best. And there are certain YouTube channels where all they do is explain the rules, and they do a really good job of
for
it.
sure.
And so like, we don't need to regurgitate that part and spend 75% of, a review just explaining how you play a game.
But I think there's real value for us on the internet, for you specifically, because you've written, how many game reviews do you think in your life?
I don't know,
hundreds, right? And to have that mindset doing tabletop reviews, like very few people are doing tabletop reviews that have written as many reviews as you have, and I think that's a cool thing. So anyways, like, I feel like that's what's going to be valuable and kind of fun, is making those reviews. But at the same time, the community with the tabletop coverage rightfully was like, well, we want tabletop coverage because we want to watch you. We want to watch you stream you guys actually playing games. And I was like, okay, well then what form should this take? And the code that I cracked, it seems very obvious, like all things in retrospect.
Yes.
But it's that idea of like, we can double up, and it's still up in the air when this is going to launch and how it's going to launch and the schedule and stuff like that. But the code that we cracked is that idea that, okay, we can make streaming the tabletop game an exclusive show. So whenever we play tabletop games as a group, we can stream that out to people that support us at the $5 level. So people can jump in and have fun that way. I'll also be recording that session so that we can use that as B-roll or like clips for the actual review, which will be a tighter experience that'll be blasted out publicly.
Yeah, because I think that is an important component, even if you're not explaining the rules. Being able to see how certain things work as you're, reviewing them and explaining them, I think is super important, just for wrapping your head around those kind of things.
And in terms of supporting MinnMax, what I got excited about too is like, it'll be fun because it'll be like blasting out this public review, but there'll be clips. But just in case people are like, oh, that game looks really fun, or like, I like that person there. Look at Jeffem's handsome beard. I want to watch them play. Then it's like, $5, little man, put that money in our hands.
Yeah, and we've got that whole playthrough as well that you can go watch, which a lot of the different sites don't have anything like that. They may occasionally stream a game every now and then, but mostly they'll just be doing reviews, or they just stream games without doing the reviews. And so I like the idea of any game that we're going to review, we will also have a playthrough that you can then go watch.
Right.
It's kind of an exciting thing.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that format. And tell me if, I'm high, but something I want to include for our tabletop reviews is, this is very technical, and I'm sorry, it's not that technical, but I want to include play session. Like, it's like, each round is 20 minutes. I want to include a wave file of table audio, just visually, of what it
so you can
sounds
see when
like.
People scream and stuff.
You can see how funny, how loud the game is. You know what I mean? Like something like just one, it'll be pretty like hopefully lots of laughter throughout. Something like Code Names, it's like silence thinking, spike of laughter, yelling, silence thinking, or something like Splendor, which I like a decent amount, but it's like, it's a good game. At the same time, it is a quiet game, and I think I want to know that. It's like a good way to indicate like what the mood's going to be like in the room, just from visually looking at something, right?
That'd be cool.
I don't know. It's like a weird trademark, but like all of our reviews will have a waveform. Let's see. William Garcia. Oh yeah, everything's wobbly. Get out of the house! Edgar Vasquez. Well, I already said that one. William Garcia says, have you guys decided on how your game of the year format will work? Going to do a giant bomb thing or just in private or make your case on the podcast? No, honestly, we haven't had that big debate. I think there's a little bit of a split between people that want to do it live versus want to record it giant bomb style. Like giant bomb would be fun.
I think the split is some people may just not want to do it in front of an actual audience.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But I think we're all on board for streaming it. Or recording it in some way so that people can see the actual whole discussion. I think everyone associated with MinnMax at this point was always excited for that idea when we were at GI and was always pushing for it, but we never did it there.
Right. Maybe they'll do it this year. That'll be the ultimate twist of the night. So yeah, we don't know the exact format yet because I think the concern is like we don't need to dance around this. Like, Kyle, I think is like, I don't know about the live audience thing. Like it'd be fun, but his concern is like, I don't want like people shouting out and like influencing the ranking by like everybody kind of getting too involved in the live stream. It's like, I get that. Like you want it to be MinnMax's ranking. It's not like we want to put Jedi Fallen Order here on the list. And then everyone's like, no, it's like, oh, I guess we got to put it down. Mm-hmm. But I think there still is an avenue just for like, especially because MinnMax doesn't have that many voices at this point. Like I think it'd be really fun to do it live just to have some outlet for people if they want to talk about games they really like this year. And it's like, I don't know if it's like a public mic that we like rotate through for like a section for like community votes or something like that. But like, that's the kind of thing I want more so than you guys cheer for the amount that you want control bumped up the list, Yeah.
And the only concern that I would have about that is not about that specifically, but about doing it live is I always appreciate it at GI where we would do one big meeting and then we would say, okay, we need to play more of this and this and this because these are kind of the important games. And so that's the kind of thing that if we were doing it live, we obviously couldn't leave and powwow and play a bunch more games.
But I think we can do a version of that where we can figure out what games we need to actually catch up on. Yeah. And then maybe even like stream that. Like, we had what did we call that at GI? Remember where it was like making the case or you like challenge somebody? Top 50 challenge? Is that what we called it?
Sometimes, I think.
Yeah, we did that for a couple years. It was really fun. As an example of like Joe Juba was like, hey, we need more people to play Final Fantasy 14. Who will do that? And I was like, yeah, I'll step up. And I played like 20 hours of Final Fantasy 14 just to be able to speak to it a little bit for that Game of the Year stuff. So we can do like a soft version of that. Yeah. Maybe even like stream some of those just and bill it as kind of like a preamble.
Yeah. Pre-argument or whatever.
Yeah. Bloody Moses, I paused watching Star Wars Episode 3 for this. We didn't tell you to do that.
Hey,
man. Do you like Episode 3?
I can't even really differentiate
those
three movies in my mind.
Oh, wow. I remember watching
it. Was the best one of the three, right?
Yeah, but I think
it's the one where Anakin gets all his limbs cut off, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best, but then you go back and it's like, I remember this being the good one. And then you watch it and it's like, it's still, I think, kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I remember counting the number of times. If you don't remember that well, you probably don't remember this crap. But remember Obi-Wan Kenobi rides like a lizard creature and it makes like a chocobo, like sound constantly. And I remember counting it. How many times that thing made that sound as he's like, whoa, riding around in the crazy General Grievous area. It's like 43 warks or whatever the hell it was. Before Episode 9 comes out, I was thinking like, there's not going to be a better time to rewatch all Star Wars. I rewatched the original trilogy with like Tim and folks right before Force Awakens came out. And I'm glad I did it. And now it just feels like, well, it's Episode 9. Like, you should watch the 8 before, right? There's not going to be a better time.
You would have to start like right now in order to get them done.
I know. You're probably right.
Well, you have nothing else to do, right?
That's right. I quit my day job. I have so many games to play, man.
I have not started. That's what I meant. Yes. You have Outer Wilds to catch up on and
Worlds.
Outer Worlds.
You idiot.
They got me. They got me. Outer Worlds and Death Stranding and all kinds of stuff.
I finished a mini goal this weekend, though. And this is like the smallest gaming thing, but I finished the campaign for Modern Warfare.
Okay.
So I'm really happy that I finished that off, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Do you die constantly playing that campaign?
There's that one level specifically with the giant juggernaut guy.
Yeah.
You die a bunch on that. That
I don't even
sucks.
Yeah. It's just silly to have like a boss fight like that. He feels like Vulcan Raven or something.
Yes.
And so I was like running away from him, and then it's like eventually it just said the objective changed. I don't know if it just gave up on me or I actually beat him.
I
but
lost so many times on that. That would be a surprise.
But then there's just crap like when you're in the tunnels and all of a sudden it's like you're just constantly lit on fire out of the blue, and it's like, stay away from the oil puddles. Like, yeah, I thought I was. I had no idea what's going on here.
That's always been my problem with those. Like, they want to do such a scripted thing, but there's just no leeway. And like, if you do it wrong, it's just, okay, try it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that fun? Just keep on trying it again until you do it exactly the way you want it.
I play those games on easy, and I wish they give you a tally, because I swear to God, I probably died 78 times going through the campaign. Like, it's absurd.
Yeah, I spent a long time on that juggernaut fight. It was just like, this is not fun. Why would you do this to me? You know?
Right. Without spoiling anything, like, were you into like what they set up at the end, or was it kind of just like, okay, there we go?
It was a kind of, oh, okay, now what does that mean? And you know, what is all that tied into?
Yeah. I bet some Call of Duty fans were really into it.
And on the whole, like I said, I did like it a lot more than a couple of the previous years.
Yeah. So. And I went back afterwards and played more gunfight, and it's still super fun. It'd be fun to team up at some point and stream that.
And Kill confirmed now that they actually added that in.
Oh, they did? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. John Carson, everyone starts sending Hanson versions of Monopoly. Don't do that.
Yes, please don't.
It's very tough to find your spot here. Kanto Kid, will you guys have a P.O. box for fan mail or fans to send stuff? I don't know how P.O. boxes work, but I don't know. I push back on people sending us stuff, you know, overall, because everyone's really generous, but also feels like we're good.
It makes us feel weird. Yeah.
It's uncomfortable to have people donate too much. And there have been a couple of exceptions. Like, somebody reached out and like, hey, do you want these computer monitors? Like, I don't want these anymore. And I was like, yeah, I could actually use those. And so it's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And it's like, yeah. So I drove down to St. Louis Park in the Costco and met him in the parking lot and stole his monitors, you know? And it's like, but if there's too much of that, it's like, that's the point of people chipping in for the Patreon, is so that we don't have to mooch off the community, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's we may be a little too Minnesota nice about it and like have that Midwestern guilt about those kind of things.
Right.
But yeah, we would prefer not to have to do that.
Dan Willie.
Thank you to everyone.
Yes, thank you. That's very nice. Dan Willie says, will you consider doing any classic games for Deepest Dives, or will just be new releases? Yeah, we'd love to do classic games for sure. Probably, I'd imagine the next one, because by the time we wrap up Outer Worlds as Deepest Dive, I think probably, what December games are coming out this year?
I don't know. I think the other big one was Star Wars, right? Yeah. But that will be out already? I don't know if
it's
that
coming
matters.
Out this Friday. I think just doing like a max spoilers on Jedi Fallen Order is going to be the way to go. But I have a game in mind. I forget if I've said it. I won't promise it, but like, nothing better for me than over a Christmas break, snow's falling, it's beautiful, playing a JRPG. And so it'd be fun to do a classic JRPG over that break, but we'll see. Oh, Jeff, question for you.
Oh, Chris.
I'm running to the bathroom.
Running to the bathroom. All right. Chris, you still haven't said how to pronounce your name. It's killing me. Koken? I'm going to say Koken, and I hope that's right. Let's see. Someone in Overblood group today mentioned how much they miss Funny to a Point. Any chances of starting something here that really harnesses your sarcastic and quirky brand of humor? Yeah, I hope so. We have talked about doing some kind of video essay series that kind of falls in the same kind of camp with that. And I would hope that that's another one of those things that we still have to figure out how we're going to do it and what exactly it's going to be like. Funny to a Point was always kind of a pain because there was no set format to it, which in some sense was really exciting because creatively I could do whatever I want, but there were also times when it was like, okay, I got to do a column in 2 days and I just have no idea, what I want to say or what's going to be funny. It's hard to do funny stuff on a set timeline. That's not really how humor works. But so we've talked about some ideas, Hanson and and I always like making humorous content. So I'll be making jokes somehow about video games. I hope that's good. Let's see. I have to lean in like an old person to see all the tiny text here. Zach.
Oh, Jeff, shut up. I've been meaning to ask you, would you ever consider doing like a funny to the point style thing?
Oh, yeah. Could you hear me rambling?
No, I couldn't actually.
Yeah. The short answer is yes. We hope to do some kind of humorous video essays.
I think everybody involved with MinnMax wants to make video essays in some way. Yeah. And so, that'd be super fun.
We have to watch
Jacob's pro tips.
Pro tips. Figure out how to do it.
Zach Pleggy, did you read that one?
No, I didn't.
Did you all see Kojima's comment of the review criticism difference between Europe, Japan, and America?
Yes, I did.
What is that? I missed it.
He said that he thinks Western reviews of Death Stranding were more critical because the game flies above shooters, and so apparently us
flies above shooters is his phrasing.
That's the headline that I saw. I don't know if those were his exact choice of words, but yes. So he seemed to be deflecting criticism from Western outlets as saying, well, this isn't just a shooter, so therefore they're more critical of it.
It's interesting. He kind of laid the groundwork for that, I feel like, in interviews before by saying, like, I think it was in Joe's interview, which is really good. It's on GameInformer.com if you want to read that one. But in that one, he was saying that, like, it's going to take a while for people to truly understand what I'm making here, right? Although, to be fair, the way people were talking about that game before it came out, I was expecting Metacritic of like 68, 71. But it's at 84. And it's like, wow, all right. I think it's a success critically, even if it's really divisive.
Which at that point, why are you complaining about, what the Western criticism is?
Yeah, when he's used to 10s though, man.
Yeah, like, I guess. Yeah. But it's like, that is a tough argument to throw out there when you have such a shameless Monster Energy like ad just like shoved in there, like there are things to be critical about that game. I won't say too much because we're going to talk about it on the podcast, but I actually have been enjoying it.
Interesting. Part. Okay.
But yeah, I saw those headlines too and was like, come on, you can't deflect a whole group of criticism by saying that, actually my game is just too good and these people don't understand it. Right. I think you can understand that a Monster Energy ad that's just constantly shoved in your face is a stupid thing.
Edgar Vasquez, did you guys know that Walmart has its own video game magazine? I don't think I knew that. Did you?
No.
I want to
read that. Is that a joke?
Hey, Edgar, is that a joke?
Are you joking with us?
Is this a game to you? Let's see. Joke's on you. Chili is a person. Oh, that's a reference to... See, there's always a lag to people because it takes a while to get through all these. Brooks Williams, love the Russian basement blood swap talk and the strip club questions. This is why I support MinnMax. Oh, good.
There we go.
Well, happy to help you. Chris says, shut up and sit down is a good YouTube channel for tabletop. Honestly, I've rarely looked at that.
No, that's one of my favorite ones.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What stands out to you about it?
They're good. They're one of the few places where they will actually write out a script when they're talking about games and kind of run you through what they like and what they don't like. And they do have a very high standard. They do a badge system, spoiler, where it's basically, it's they will approve games or not approve games. They may have like an excellence badge as well for the very best. I'm not sure, but so if you watch a bunch of their videos, when they actually approve a game, it actually means something,
right?
And I appreciate that, and they also kind of add humorous, kind of side stories to some of their videos, which can be hit or miss. But I just appreciate there are very few. No Pun Included is another one where they will actually write out a script after they've played a game a bunch and thought about a game.
Oh, nice.
And so those are nice. And they will explain the rules, as they're going through, but it is part of the script, and it is focused more on the criticism and saying like, this is why this mechanic is interesting, as opposed to just laying out the rules.
Right. Okay.
They are good. I approve that message.
Flaming Queso says, Ben, how did you enjoy your MinnMax shopping spree? What did that feel like? That's a very good question. That was super fun. Because I went on a huge shopping spree before, obviously, the launch of MinnMax, of like buying all that stuff. But then doing it on Saturday, it was like once the first wave of money came through Patreon, it was actually deposited in the bank account. It's very nice, and you feel really happy for like the salesman that you're working with at a place like Micro Center in Minnesota here, because like I think it's probably a commission thing because they have to like put their name on it or whatever. And so it's a very satisfying feeling when I went over and I was like, hey, I'm looking to get a PC, blah, 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 blah. These specs is what I'm ballparking. And they're like, okay, well, let's, there's a custom built PC ready to go. It's got this, and then the most satisfying moment is that bit of like, what if I told you money is no concern, which obviously it is, right? But just that idea of like, let's bump this up. We can afford more. And then it's like, oh, well, right this way, sir. Which is very nice. And like, so even before this shopping spree, I kind of had that too when I went to like an audio place and bought like all the mics and the mixer and a bunch of cables and stuff. Like walking into a store feeling uncomfortable, it's because you're a human being
naturally,
and then talking to the person behind the counter, and then when you explain everything you want and you see the dollar signs roll in their face, that's very satisfying, because it really is like a weird flip where suddenly it is, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming, sir. And they're like, what was your name? And they like want to shake your hand and stuff, where it's like, it feels really good. And at Micro Center, I bought the PC and all this other stuff. And then the salesman was really nice. He was helping me out. And then at a certain point, he's just like, oh, by the way, I should point out that's my manager over there, Michael, whatever the hell this guy's name was. And the manager's like this guy in a suit and tie, just like standing to the side. And he just goes, hey, nice to see you again. I recognize you. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for your purchases today. I was like, I've been to Micro Center 4 times in my life. Like, last time I was there was probably years ago. It's like, I think he's just taking a stab in the dark, assuming that if I'm spending that much money at Micro Center, I'd been there before. Because like 60% chance I'd been there before, 40% chance I hadn't, and then I just shut up. Right? And like, I'm not going to be like, actually, technically, but it's like, it's a weird move, isn't it? To be like, ooh, I recognize your face,
That's
sir.
a manager move.
Yeah, it is. So that felt really good. And then it's also fun going to a place like Micro Center, because I'm not the smartest with tech, believe it or not. But I think they appreciate that, like, I can get most of the way there in these discussions of like talking about what I need, because I was talking to them about specifically like, inputting HDMI feeds and working with the Black Magic and stuff. And they're like, oh, actually we have a salesman who's really good at that. And he came over and he does the streaming for some casino here in Minnesota. And so he was talking about how he uses Black Magic tech. So it was just nice to get really in the weeds with him on specifically like, okay, this device, how does it work here? Will it transmit the video signal through USB-C or is that just control? And so it was a lot of fun discussions, except I'm very dumb. And like, I was wandering around Micro Center in like the audio section. I'm like, okay, trying to talk to salesman there. I'm like, what I need is, I don't know what you call it, but it's like the headphone splitter / mixer. And they're all like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I need like a headphone splitter mixer thing. And he goes, literally, can you explain step by step what you're trying to do? Look, I'm trying to take one audio cable, run it into a device that then splits a headphone signal 4 ways. And they're like, oh, we don't have that here. So then I had to go to Guitar Center and explain that again. They're like, headphone amp. You're looking for the word headphone amp. I'm like, okay, thank you. I just thought it was a splitter mixer.
And
I don't
then
know.
You walked out and went right back to Micro Center. It's headphone amp.
Oh, right. This way.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And as I was looking for one, this guy came up with a salesman who was also looking for exactly what I was looking for. and the salesman gave him something and explained, this is what you need. And he was about to leave. And I was like, hang on, I don't think that's right. And the salesman's like, yeah, no, this is HDMI splitter. I'm like, no, it's not. What you're giving him is to take 3 HDMI signals and channel it into one, and then you press a button to switch between those. He's trying to go from 1 to 3. Yeah. And he's like, no, it's the same thing. And it's like, it's a real dick move. And it's like, no, salesman who works here, I think you're wrong. It's like, you feel like you're really going out on a limb, but then
ask your manager. We're very tight.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. He recognizes me, but then by the end, the guy was like, oh, honestly, thank you. He would have had to have returned that. So thank you for interrupting my sales pitch.
Perfect.
So yeah, I run Micro Center. But yes, the shopping spree felt amazing. Thanks everybody for supporting MinnMax to the point that we could buy that stuff. And then I splurged a bit. And this was from my personal account, but like yesterday I was like, you know what else I really want after all these purchases? First of all, I need a new vacuum for my house. This is not Patreon money, to be fair. Mm-hmm. So I went out and bought that. And then it's like, you know what else I want? In the basement, we have like a little green room type area, which sucks. But I was like, you know what we should have down there?
I have not even seen that area.
I mean, it's like the first big basement room with like the chairs or whatever.
You have a green screen in there?
No, a green room, like a
green room.
Yeah, yeah. And then I was like,
that's a terrible green room.
I know, it's bad, but now it's better because I went out, and again, it's my own money, not Patreon money, to be fair. But I got a mini fridge in there, and I just loaded it with bubbly, like LaCroix.
You know, fancy.
It's like, this is what I want, just to have a cool little fridge just for people coming by to record stuff. And it feels really good to me.
There you go.
Barry says Easy Allies did it live before and just turn off the chat for 9 hours. Oh, for Game of the Year discussions? Yeah, that's interesting. John Carson, what if you took voicemails from patrons beforehand and they sell you on a game to be considered for Game of the Year? That could work if we end up going the pre-recorded discussion. James Smith says, I paused playing Death Stranding for this. Hey, man, I didn't tell you what to do. Bloody Moses, I'm rewatching them all now to prepare for episode 9, Star Wars. Oh, interesting. So you're doing exactly what I want to do. It's going to take a while to get through. I'm curious. For sure, at least we're going to rewatch Force Awakens and Last Jedi before 9.
Yeah.
Predict episode 9's Rotten Tomato score.
85.
I think you're right. And fans are going to be pissy.
Yes, they're going to hate it.
Yes. There's going to be some decisions in there that will outrage people to no end.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's like you couldn't build like a better experiment for screwing with fans than Star Wars as a whole.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, our age, like when the first movies first came out, like they legitimately earned like that blockbuster status of like being sold out, you know, for months or whatever, because they were just so amazing. But like when we grew up on that probably warped our brains, you know, like if you were 20 when the original movies came out, I can understand why you would go back to see it, just because as a spectacle, you know, there wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
But growing up with that kind of fandom,
you think we're just entitled to Star Wars?
I don't know what it does, but then having that lead to years of nothing, and then it coming back in a way that totally crushes you and disappoints you.
Yeah.
And then another huge lapse.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back, like I don't know what is going on in people's brains at that point.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I enjoyed the new ones.
For sure. I think there's going to be an uncomfortable pressure.
It's impossible at this point.
It's impossible.
You know?
And I think there's going to be a shoehorn feel for them trying to connect the 9 films together, when clearly episode 7 was so different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the Emperor is a good example of that. I think there's going to be more stuff of like, oh, and now you saw in the trailer, right? It's like we have the
see any of the trailers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so no spoilers. But I think it's just going to be like, you know, the reason we're focusing on this new crew for the sequel trilogy is because of this. You know, just there's going to be some dumb stuff even outside of the Emperor for trying to connect these dots. It's going to feel so uncomfortable.
It's
impossible. Oh, Kanto Kid, will you guys be doing movie discussions as well? Yeah, certainly for like the Max Spoilers videos, we'll be doing movie stuff, I'm sure, in the future. And then more regular movie stuff. Yeah, we've been loosely discussing that, but no plans right now. I think Max Spoilers is a good avenue for a lot of that stuff. Oh, Chris Coughlin says, Jeffem, I don't think
you're adding an L in there. That's just.
I don't think I've ever seen you without a coffee mug. Is it always coffee? Are you jacked on caffeine 24/7, bro?
No, I'm not. It's tea. Yeah, I don't drink a ton of tea when I'm not doing talks. I don't know what it is about this. My wife gave me crap about that. She watched the first episode of the MinnMax show, 2 ends.
You're really struggling to come up with that.
And
name.
within like the first 10 minutes, she's like, "You drink out of that mug a lot." I'm like, why are you going to make me self-conscious about this? It's probably some kind of weird unconscious thing that I'm always drinking out.
Well, also she critiqued me and said I was looking at the monitor we have too much because I was checking the levels.
And as soon as she said that, I could not see that. It was like, because you looked kind of menacing when you look out like,
right.
Like, I would imagine there'd be like a window there where you're peeping on your neighbor or something. That's kind of looking.
No, that's why we have the glass ceiling for, so we can see directly into their bathroom.
Yes.
By the way, they're such saints. Don't tell them this. But like we were screaming until like 10:30 last night, just singing. Like, our final song we did was "You Oughta Know." Like, you can't do that in a subtle way. They claim that they did not hear us, which if you were watching that stream, there's no way they didn't hear us. Like, that was so loud.
Are they on the first floor?
Mm-hmm.
And but separated, like out that way?
No, they're directly below us. Yeah, they're the meat in the MinnMax sandwich of this studio / living room, and then the studio.
I mean,
downstairs.
I guess it's good to know that you could basically kill someone up here and they would never know about
it. Let's see. Oh, William Garcia says, I'd suggest Final Fantasy 6 if you do an old JRPG for Deepest Dive. That's a good suggestion. I'm thinking of something very similar to that. Might have been mentioned earlier in this stream. Let's see. Edgar Vasquez says, everyone at Micro Center is clearly a big GI fan. People don't know this. There was another Jeffem at Game Informer who was in reception. What do you call that?
Yeah.
Jeff Muir.
Customer service.
Yes, customer service. Thank you. And he used to work at Micro Center, which is insane because I worked with him for a while. And then I went to Micro Center to buy something. I'm like, what are you doing here? You're in the checkout area. And he's like, oh, yeah, I have 2 jobs. I work at Game Informer and
He also worked there?
Yeah. Wow.
I
think he quit now, but yeah, that blew my mind.
Well, now that it's, so financially stable.
That's right. William Garcia says, did you guys get any new VR gear with the new PC? No, I did not. It technically can support it, but the VR community, I guess it's interesting hearing from them every once in a while, but like, why don't you do more VR coverage? It'd be kind of fun. Like one of the games that I really want to do or play through this year, but who knows if there's ever going to be time, but like, I want to play that Groundhog Day VR game. I really do.
Yeah.
And it'd be fun to stream that entire thing with Kyle, but we just have to figure out the tech and all that stuff. So no VR plans right now, but it'd be fun. So Chris Coughlin is Jeffem's wife. I do believe that's correct.
And I like that he put an L in there. So now, it's a proper mispronunciation.
John Carson, what's the video card in that new PC? It is an RTX 2080.
Ooh. So we can mine Bitcoin on the side? Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Yeah, to help fund MinnMax.
There you go.
Are people still doing that? It feels like it's cooled down a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yes, so PC specs. Yes, got the 2080 solid state drives, have like 1.5 terabytes. Let's see, 16 gigs of RAM. But this is the example of like trying to bump it up. Is like to the point of, I was like, can we go higher than 16 gigs? And he's like, man, like you don't need that. He's like,
be cool.
Unless you're editing 4K consistently. He's like, you're fine with 16. You can always upgrade in the future. But it's got like the tower has a cool clear side on it. It's got colors for all you nerdos out there. But I really wanted to dive into all that tech immediately and get it set up. But there's games to play. And so I'm probably going to have to save that until later this week. So this week's episode of The Great Goatee Hunt will probably still be in the living room. I'm sorry.
Old hot love seat.
Yes, the love seat indeed.
It worked for us last week.
We fell in love?
We got a ton of views for some reason.
Oh, that's right.
I think YouTube likes that couch.
Oh, the lucky couch. That could be. So I'll dive into tech stuff probably later this week. And so I can't wait to start unboxing that. But when was the last time you started messing with tech stuff or got a new computer, like you forget what a time sink that is. Where it's like, I'm going to start setting this stuff up. And then it's just, oh, that's the entire day.
Yeah.
At least is just putzing with tech and hooking everything up, especially because I still have to mess around with the Blackmagic A10 Mini and hook that sucker up and also run the GoPro into it and stuff like that. And so there's just 1,000 little technical things to figure out. And I just need time to do all this stuff. Jeff Fum's, oh, hello, Jawar, hello. Says, so is Jeff Fum's new segment going to be MinnMax Murders? Maybe. Well, we find somebody new to murder every week.
Oh,
and then you commit a murder, and then the mystery is we need to figure out who did it.
Right. Flawless. Perfect idea.
Oh, that's great.
Perfect crime.
Anything you're looking? Oh, Min Murders.
No, MinnAQs Murders.
That's very good. Do you remember Death Clock? Like Metalocalypse, the band was Death Clock. Mm-hmm. Oh, they have a song called Murder, which is like a mermaid murder. And it's a mermaider, I think. It's a very fun song. What are you looking forward to this week? MinnMax stuff.
I want to. The Deepest Dive.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. I actually finished ahead of time, although I did skip some side stuff.
What? Yeah. How many hours do you think it took you?
How
many hours am I playing Out of Worlds today? I guess that's another way.
That's impossible to say because my clock is. I probably put like 2 days into it already.
Right.
But don't go by me. You can do it much faster.
Yeah.
If you're not creeping around and stealing every single thing that you come across.
Oh, that's fun. I started a new character, and it's nice to just know exactly what I want now. Where it's like I was frustrated by the lack of ammo. I understand that's probably because I was jumping through too much. But so now it's like I'm just going to be a club wielding maniac and just like all in melee and just beat the crap out of all these people. Nothing but like dialogue points and melee points. It's like that is a fun build for a character. It's like this brute who also will talk your pants off.
Yeah. And once you get that, I'm still using that science hammer. There's one science hammer that is just so overpowered. It's great.
Yeah. So and you get that on the ship?
On the space station,
which I'm looking forward to seeing finally.
Yes.
I still haven't checked
that out. I don't know how you managed to skip
so much of that game. I don't know either. But to be fair, when I played it, I didn't know we were going to be doing it as a Deepest Dive. And so I didn't have that mentality. So I'm like, oh, I'll just play it and whatever. And now it's like, oh, I need to actually really pay attention to this and take this seriously because Deepest Dive deserves respect. We'll be making that post later today if you're watching this on Monday for feedback for the Deepest Dive Part 2. And it's everything in the game from landing on Monarch through landing on Byzantium.
Yes.
So leave your comments there. Last time we got so many good ones. I'm curious how many people will be responding this time around, but that's awesome. And I can't wait to jump through that stuff and record that tomorrow. That should be fun. And then group stream tomorrow. We're going to put the vote or the poll up pretty soon for $10 supporters to figure out what game we're playing. I'm going to throw a couple joke options in there. And I'm curious if a joke option can be so compelling that it dethrones Death Stranding. I kind of hope that it happens just because it'd be really fun.
Yeah.
But then is it defeating the legitimacy of the Great Goatee Hunt structure?
Well, probably.
Yeah. But hey, look, the community's poll, right?
So far, they've surprised us. Well, I guess Luigi's Mansion we kind of figured would be the winner last week.
Mm-hmm.
But they dethroned Call of Duty the other time. So
yeah, for sure. Great. That's it. It should be a fun week. I think I'm feeling really good about this week just overall with MinnMax for starting to expand the pool a little bit. Like I think last night with the stream, that was very, there were like 50 people watching, 40 to 50, which is like awesome on Twitch. I'm just like, oh, just a nice focused group that's actually into watching Twitch things, but like bringing Wade Wojcik back from Game Informer, former video editor. And then also like my friend Kelsey, like, okay, starting to expand the pool a little bit. And I think this week we'll be expanding it a little bit more in some interesting ways. And so I'm excited I feel like this is the first week where it's like, this is going to be a good representation of the path forward for MinnMax. You know, I felt a little bit, I don't know if guilty is the right word, but like the last couple of weeks, it's like, this is good, this is solid, but like we need to show what MinnMax is going to look like more. And I feel like hopefully by the end of this week, people have a good idea of like, okay, it's this type of stuff. And I think we're going to be churning out a lot of content too.
Yeah. We got more stuff than the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
In a big part because Extra Life is over. So
that's right. That's true.
You don't have to worry about that.
Yep. And then just a heads up, I'll probably put it up today if you're watching this. So on Monday, I recorded like an hour-long discussion with Wade too, just about his life after Game Informer and his thoughts on Game Informer in retrospect. And if you're a hardcore fan, I hope you find it interesting. It's pretty in the weeds. It's almost like a deepest dive on Wade Wojcik's soul.
Ooh.
So please look
And
forward
then
to
you
that.
murdered him at the end of it.
That's right. Try and find them,
There you go.
everybody. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to MinnFAQs. Isn't this fun?
This is fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed this.
It's very simple and fun. All right. So again, keep your eyes on the Patreon page. We'll have the polls going up there for streaming. We'll have the post looking for feedback for the deepest dive, and then a bunch of bonus content throughout the week as well. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Yes.